While we were doing the guitars, having realized the concepts that I've just mentioned about tools for musicians, during the period from 1977 through until 1982, all of the guitars that I was building were done to order. Musicians come in, they say, I'd like to have something that looks like this, I want to have this kind of a sound, I'd like to have these woods. And they were all one-offs. Wonderful period, because being able to build individual instruments as a one-time handcraft was absolutely fantastic. In 1982, I made a decision to manufacture some instruments that would be for sale, but not on order. And this is when I launched Gary E. Levinson guitars. If you see pictures of them, the headstock bears my signature and a date. These were done almost all from 1982 to 1984. A lot of different types of instruments, but this was also the time when I was able to make, let's call it my first catalog, and talk about what I felt really made an instrument individual, where the sound came from. Got a lot more involved in saying, if we use these kind of woods or these kind of woods, how that's going to affect the sound moving forward. And also started doing consultancy work for other guitar companies. I first went to Japan in 1983 on a consultancy job for product development, and started working together with the factories. And this was the first time really for me that I was able to spend an extended period of time in the factories, see how that they worked, and whether that was companies that were making Ibanez or making Jacksons or making Washburns or making any number of other instruments. Actually learning the manufacturing methodology that was used, seeing where I thought there could be things changed, made better, and finding out also where many of the limitations were in a manufacturing environment. During this period, also came up with some new ideas. Thought if we could take and change some things in the way the guitars are manufactured, or come up with new concepts both in electronics and hardware, how could we change the way that the guitar actually would function? There was a mythical beast that fascinated the minds of guitar players, particularly starting in the early 80s. And I like to refer to this as the Paulcaster. It was that combination of fat, warm, even jazzy humbucker sounds, together with the brightness and the cut and the twang of single coils. If you could only find a way to have a button on your guitar where you push it and you can switch from the one guitar to the other in the wink of an eye to allow you to get all of these sounds out of a single guitar and have so much more freedom then as a guitar player. Well, if you took a look at what was going on at that time, what you actually saw were guitars coming out with a humbucker in the bridge and two single coils on it. And that was the electronic way of making this Paulcaster. At the same time, the use of the tremolo was exploding across all forms of music. And the idea of having a tremolo that you could actually put on the guitar and have it stay in tune was of paramount importance. So this Paulcaster went on not only from the sound side of things, of humbucker plus single coils, it also included this tremolo system that would allow you to play, do dive bombings, and then the other thing that came along with it, which was new, was to be able to up-trem and have the whole thing stay in tune. So now we've added to the humbucker and two single coils, we've added the Floyd Rose tremolo from this time period. Well, this is all fine, but for me, this didn't really answer the core question of, on the one hand, having the sounds, and on the other hand, making sure that the technologies that you put in the guitar gave you, one, a great deal of flexibility, but also always looked to have the pieces of wood that the guitar were made of be of paramount importance to the sound of the guitar. Every human voice is different. Everyone's voice is unique to them. Why should guitars only have this mid-rangey sound that comes also of putting very heavy hardware on a guitar like the Floyd Rose Tremolo and lose that type of personality? So I had these thoughts of saying, how can we change what is available to us to be able to realize the plethora of sounds that people want to have, the playability that they want to have, keep the unique personality of every instrument that mirrors the sounds of the woods that you have in it, and still have it stay in tune, play well, and sound right. Well, came up with some new ideas and approached various guitar manufacturers with them, but people seemed to be pretty stuck in their ways. So in 1985, I made the decision to do it myself. And that was the birth of the idea of Blade, which became known as Advanced Concepts by Gary Levinson. And that whole concept has been carried through until today. And so we launched Blade in October 1987 at the Tokyo Music Show. And I'd like to go on now and tell you a little bit about how that all took place and about how Blade came into the marketplace and the needs that it fulfilled.